Out of all the various personal development books that I've read since the age of 17 to now age 27, the one that has topped it all is this book right here. The book called The Science of Getting Rich. Now, I believe that I learned about this book from somebody. I'm not sure if it was the year 2020 or a little bit earlier than that, right? But I came across this book after having read so many various different books that are all great, like, Think and Grow Rich, The Laws of Success, which are both by Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil, also by Napoleon Hill. Then you have, As a Man Thinketh. You have, I never really got into the whole, The Secret and the Law of Attraction, but I've read so many different books centered around that aspect of psychology and the development of what it takes to achieve your goals and become successful in this life. At the end of the day, it all comes down to principles. However, after learning all of these lessons from these various books, when I came across, as through referral from somebody, I can't remember who it was that referred to me, but when I got this book, I cannot explain how straight to the point it got in terms of getting rich. And what really, really caught my attention was that the author himself explained that this is the only book you would essentially need. He explained that he summarized everything that all these other books are talking about into these simple pages, because at the end of the day, it's not that deep. Getting rich is not that deep. Understanding what it means to be rich entirely, aside from just money, is not that deep. And the author explained that the level of metaphysics, right, that one can understand, you don't really need to know all those details to be able to apply the principles that are in this book practically and reap the results. If you're somebody that wants to get into the depths of the metaphysics and the spiritual and the psychology and the science of the details to the science of getting rich, so be it. Go ahead. And that is what many other books really are doing. But overall, this book right here summarized what many other books go into detail in, that if you are the average person and you're just trying to figure out what are the principles that you need in order to get rich, right? I'm just saying principles, not the skills and things of that nature. That's a whole different thing, but the principles. This book summarized it straight to the point. And for me, in this book, what I really liked that caught my attention as well was the two chapters specifically. At the time when I read this book, the chapter of gratitude and the chapter of efficient action. Those were the two chapters that, while I've been studying and learning and going through principles and affirmations and positive self-talk, auto-suggestion, right? While I've been applying all these principles and I was seeing and reaping some level of results, at the time I still didn't understand the depths of gratitude, how important it is, and also efficient action. How important, the key word is efficient action, not just action, but efficient. And I'll be making, some videos going in detail on those. I'll be making a lot of videos concerning this book. But overall, get this book, read it, and study it like it's a Bible. Study it like your life depends on it, because in other videos, I'll be going through it and, taking some experts and just expounding on certain portions in this book, because every time I read this book, there's so many things I was going through, so many things that I was struggling with, from not just the spiritual standpoint and the physical standpoint, but even the social standpoint and the economy standpoint. And the book just explains, once you developed a certain way of thinking and a certain way of acting, all those factors will not stop you from being able to get rich. And the last thing, get rich in the creative way and not get rich from the competitive way. And that's the last thing that also stuck with me when I read this book. I don't need to compete with anybody. Healthy competition, sure, that's good, right? But in terms of competing, where I am trying to destroy somebody else, right? Where I'm trying to basically conquer, whatever. At the end of the day, through creativity and understanding that the opportunity is here for everybody. Once you can think a certain way, see what's going on, and then act a certain way to execute on the things that needs to be done, we all have the ability to essentially get rich. And it doesn't mean everyone's going to be a billionaire. It doesn't mean everyone's going to be a millionaire. But in terms of just the sufficiency of life and going through the process of developing developing wealth, right? Everyone's pace is going to be different. But what really, at the end of the day, differentiates between those who make it and get there and those who don't is a lot of the principles in this book. And that's why it stuck with me out of any other personal development book that I've read in the last 10 years.